Welcome back, welcome in. Um, we're gonna be doing a heavy one today, so I had to make sure I was good and dandy for this one, because I feel like this is probably gonna be a little bit heavier. If this is something that's a heavier topic, because we are going to be doing a reading on Virginia Giuffre, I think is how you pronounce her name. She I'm going to say supposedly or allegedly because, you know, this trial didn't actually, this case, I believe, didn't actually go to trial. As far as I know, correct me if I'm wrong. And it was just like statements and stuff made. But I'm going to use that, and it's not to like cast doubt on her or anything. It's just to keep myself safe because I don't know the workings of what happened and transpired through this case, because I've tried to really stay away from it just because it's been a lot of heavy. It's a very heavy topic, and if you don't know, this is dealing with Jay Epstein. I'm moving forward, I'm probably gonna refer to him as Jepson, just to kind of confuse the YouTube algorithm and so I don't get in trouble. So I'm just gonna be using it throughout just in case it's something where it'll be suppressed, if you're gonna ask questions. The other thing is, this is a case dealing with Jepson and trafficking and harm and what do you call it, DV, and I think, no, well, abuse, of several different things. And if this is something that hits too close to home for you, or if this is something you can't digest right now, I completely understand. And that's why I'm trying to give as much forewarning ahead of time to be respectful, just in case you didn't know where you were walking into, but you were just clicking on the video to support me. I thank you. But really and truly, if this is a heavier topic for you, dealing with, with young children and SA and things like that, please click off and go find something happy to do, find something that's more relaxing to you, because I don't want to bring up any triggering factors for you or anything that could make you upset or derail your day. So please opt out. For those of you who are okay with continuing forward, just to not, again, to be distasteful, but to also protect myself, because this is a big case and it is something a lot of people are keeping their eyes on. I am going to be saying alleged throughout this entire thing. As you can see, all statements made are alleged for entertainment purposes only. And I'm saying that to cover myself, and because basically because I'm ignorant on the goings on of this case. Like, I don't even remember hearing her name come up during this. Like, I'm not as wrapped up in it. It probably would have been better if it was my cousin or something, because she's been like scouring the internet looking up things. I'm not I haven't just been looking at it, because I don't need anything heavier than what I'm already dealing with. So yes, so not to disrespect her, if these things are true, or to saying I don't believe her or anything like that. This is a safe space, clear space, neutral. I just kind of want to get into this and see what's been going on, because I really was thinking this case was going to go further than what it is. But sure, I knew that there was also a possibility it was going to be suppressed because of the big names that were involved in this, and because it was such a large scale operation, if that's what you want to call it. So this will be my third or fourth reading dealing with the Jepson case. And yeah, this is the first person I'm reading on that was one of the alleged victims, and unfortunately she did do self-exit, and some people say that it reeks of foul play. So I do want to do a reading on this, and if Virginia Spirit is so inclined to come through, she don't know me from Eve, which I understand, but if there is something here where we can get some inclination on what was going on, just out of respect, and if she don't want to come into the space, that's perfectly fine as well. She need to rest easy. So with all of that being said, again, I preface this with as much respect and with as much neutrality as possible. Again, just to protect myself and to be completely transparent, because I'm not up on this. So there's going to be certain things that I may even pick up on that has been public knowledge, but because again, I have not been following it, just go along with me. Okay. So with all of that being said, please note along that same vein of me saying, hey, it's something that I'm not following. I am an intuitive reader. Oftentimes I may split hairs on things because I'm trying to interpret the feelings and messages or images, taste, whatever the case may be that's coming through. Those feelings, those emotions, I'm trying to relay them as best as possible, but of course some things get lost in translation. So, I apologize in advance to, Miss Goofrey or, anybody else who has been affected by this and I misconstrue something that is not facts, to be quite fair. So, with all of that being said, let's get into this reading. This should be a short one because I don't want to be, hopefully we don't go down a rabbit hole. I don't want to go down a rabbit hole with this. So we're just going to focus on this particular person. We're going to focus on Ms. Goofrey and we're going to move on from there and try to be as respectful as possible. Okay. All right. I'm not going to read it though. They bounced off my hand. Let's kind of mix these in here. Okay. The Wheel of Fortune. Yes, things were not working out for the best. Ooh. When I say chill went down my spine when I seen that card, all of these heavy cards. I knew this was going to be heavy. Okay. Sorry if you hear emotion in my voice, but it is what it is. We're going to get through it. So we have the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, that speaks to a turn of bad luck, a season of drought. Think about struggle, strife, a turnabout in fortune. You're no longer winning, you are losing a lot of things, or a lot of things have been removed from you. It also speaks to, I just want to say like string of bad luck is also a kind of thing I get with the Wheel of Fortune, because I oftentimes think of like gambling or lottery when I see the Wheel of Fortune. But then we also have the Devil here. And the intuitive hit I'm getting is that you being hunted by the past, being hunted by scenarios, situations, ghosts of the past, things like that that's coming up here. It could be a spiritual meaning behind that, being hunted by a ghost of a particular person. The Devil card also can deal with we can say what's the word, addictions and things like that. The Devil can also deal with falling into your negative nature, things that don't actually serve you the best, but you participate and consume in it, or it consumes you in some type of way, being trapped by limits of maybe like of your own making as well. It's kind of like the thing, but I oftentimes think of the devil, as well as the other thing. And then we also have the Judgment card here, and it's coming up in reverse. Now, somebody who is really spiritual and who believe in that, self-exit, dooms you to an eternity of, what's purgatory or something like that, or the other place. You will probably read it like that as well. That could very much be a thing. I'm not that well versed or informative when it comes to things of the other side, so I'm not going to say that. I think that's a pretty terrible thing to believe, honestly, because sometimes people really do live in every day that they're here on this, on earth. But also with the Judgment card coming up in reverse, I kind of feel like there's some things here where she feels like there were certain situations, choices that were stolen from her that she wasn't able to make, and it just made things harder for her to kind of get through things, because usually the Judgment card is like you able to look at things outside of your POV, your purview. You're able to look at things from multiple different sides. But with it coming up in reverse, it oftentimes feels like to me it's you were not able to see beyond what it is. And notice here it is someone kind of like going through a mirror, or like they're going through a warp, or what they call it, like a portal is what I meant to say. This also kind of gives like time travel, dreamy like things here. So this could be very much like her energy right now on the other side. Sad to say, kind of just still reliving those situations, or feeling like I needed to escape from those things. Going back, I also want to mark that the Judgment card heavily deals with Libra, and it's supposed to be dealing with kind of like, uh, no, I'm sorry, I'm thinking of Justice. My bad, guys. But I'm Judgment usually to me speaks of like legal action, so that's why I'm probably thinking Libra. But yeah, Judgment to me right now just kind of feels like legal actions, but it also could be a thing of like, because the tarot is heavily influenced by Christianity. It also gives a thing of like being called home. So then we have here Ten of Staves. Yeah, I was tired of dealing with things. I was overburdened, I was overwhelmed, and so I took matters into my own hands here, unfortunately. And then we also have the Queen of Sacred Circles. Is she a mother? There's a lot of motherly cards here. Or like, I should say energy, because Ten of Staves is typically a motherly card, but in here, it's her watching like over these children. And you have the Queen of Sacred Circles, who's an elderly person, or like, the matriarch who's kind of like watching over the children. There's also something here about time spent away. And then the Two of Swords, I made a difficult decision, and maybe I made the wrong one with it coming up in reverse. And then we have the Queen of Cups. That's motherly energy. What's something here with the mother? It's some motherliness in this. I don't know if she has kids, but has something happened with the child, or was she forced to have a kid that was like the product of this situation that she was in? Do anybody know? And also, let me preface this. I chose the Heaven and Hell card because I felt, not to be rude, not saying like she went to heaven or hell, but just because I felt like it was fitting for this reading. Okay, that's it. Yeah, it's nothing more than that. Just in case somebody is in the comments like, why would you choose those cards? To me, it felt right. I'm going with my intuition. This deck felt right because I was originally going to do the Inner Eye Oracle, but these felt more, I don't know how to explain it. This just felt more right to use for this reading. Oh, we have a lot of cards here. I'm gonna mix these in a little bit so they don't all come out together. See what was really meant to come out. Okay, there we go again. It's so much want to come out. Okay, so these all flipped upright. That's the only reason why I'm about to read them. But we have the Redemption card, Pahalia. We have the Desire to Know. Liberation. These are coming up in the upright, making mistakes. And then the Wastrels. I don't know what a Wastrels is. And Vagabonds. I am going to say, I notice here that the two, and this may be something common, Book of Solomon, you may all know I think that's Book of Solomon with all the little demons and angels. Um, these two, I noticed the cards that's coming up in reverse are dealing with horses. And when I think of horses, I think of messages, swiftness, um, the knights in tarot cards. So like, you know, quick things coming in, they move on action and not so much on logic, or they move on passion. So to me, I wonder if there's something here dealing with that. Was justice not being served fast enough? Was it becoming slow? Was there a lot of like, I can only imagine the amount of like mental gymnastics she felt like she had to deal with day to day. People kind of probably knowing her identity and questioning her if it was true or not, or you know, even the people who may have been involved in the situation who were probably applying pressure and saying, hey, don't name me, or you misremembered something. I don't know why that's specifically coming up, but clock it, take it for what it is. Take it for what it is. But those are some of the cards that's coming up here. I also kind of feel intuitively, this is another thing I'm getting. I think she was kind of being financially squeezed. Not saying that so much somebody was like blackmailing her or anything, but just maybe because of the circumstances of things that were going on, it was hard for her to like hold a job, or people made it hard for her to hold a job or something like that. Okay, it was this card right here on the corner. Sorry, I gotta see what this is. I want to rush to pick it up. Patience. See, something about running out of time, because that was also the Wheel of Fortune can kind of deal with that too. But remember, I was mentioning something about time, patience. Was justice not being served fast enough, or like people dragging their feet about this? Like, with certain people getting away, did she feel like people aren't prioritizing it the way that they should be? And people were just kind of like getting away. They were being like lackadaisical about this. Like, this is coming to the side, so I'm going to leave it that way. Protection and criminal. What do that say? Protecting criminal enterprises. Is that what you're trying to say here? If my candle started flickering, honey. Now, if that candle started flickering, y'all. Didn't flicker, so I'm gonna keep going forward. If they don't close this out yet. Okay, we don't want to go back in here. Religious and general conflicts is the card that's kind of trying to come out here, but we're gonna see if it's meant to, because it was not trying to get pushed back into this deck. Okay, I had a couple things trying to pop out in my hand. Okay, can we get this to the table? If here go that Wastrels and Vagabonds again. Criticisms. That Wastrels and Vagabonds try to pop out again. What else try to pop out? Making mistakes. Wasn't that the other one? And healing. There was one that tried to came out earlier. Okay, I'm going to leave these two out because they stuck. Love and wisdom and blasphemy. Dealing with judgment. Intellectual richness. This makes me feel like you knew too much. Divine comfort. Yeah, it just feels like it was harder being here. Atonement of errors. I'm not sure what the atonement of errors. Not getting exactly what they could be dealing with her. Okay, any additional information we can get here? Move these over a little bit. They're a bit off screen. Okay. Okay, we have 2 cards here. Something makes me feel like if there is such a place as the in between, a transition place, purgatory, whatever you want to call it, because the crossroads is coming up here as well. That makes me feel like she's stuck. Because look, roll opener decisions is the, like, I feel like she made a decision, but it's almost like there's a regret here. The Panther also came up in reverse, dealing with strength and power. I didn't have the strength and power to move on, to move forward, to, I don't know, maybe get what I wanted or what I felt like I needed out of this situation. Okay, what was that flipped over here so you can see? Is she a spiritual person? Psalms, rejoicing, faith. I feel like there is some happiness maybe in not being tethered to this anymore, at least on this side of things. But, and then what else we have? Horseshoe, luck, chance. Horseshoe, luck, chance. I also think of payday, gambling. Again, horseshoes. I love a horseshoe. Oh, horseshoes too. Thinking about the bad luck that she got for these cards in here. What is she? It was 2 horse cards. Remember I said that because I was mentioning that kind of gives me night energy as well. What is it with the horses? She has a lot of horse imagery that's coming up in her reading. I don't know what that could be pertaining to, but yeah, she was definitely down on her luck. What I'm kind of getting for her is like the five of what is that? Is that the 5 of coins? Yes, the 5 of coins, where you're like standing outside the church. You're kind of like in that beggar energy. You are needing help, but the only thing right now that's helping you get through is that you are praying, or you're like really leaning on your faith. And then when your faith is no longer enough, what else do you have to turn to? You have been, you've lost everything else around you, and now you're losing faith. How do you expect to continue? What else can you hold on to or put your faith in, or your belief into, to kind of get you through one more day? And then we also have blackberries, which deal with independence and agency. So you can see that there. Pair of shoes, coupling and partnerships. And lastly, we have sassafras, healing and self-care. Is this like all of the stuff she needed? She needed a partner. She needed somebody she could truly confide into, that she could trust. She needed someone who could help her become maybe interdependent. Because that's a harrowing experience. Like, again, I can only imagine. I only want to imagine. Was there not enough support around her? And again, intuitively, I can only tell you what I'm getting, and I'm doing an energy reading around her exit. To me, it feels like this was more so this was self-inflicted or self-motivated, but I think there's definitely, and I think you would be crazy to say it if it isn't, I think there were definitely external factors and things linked to this Jepsen case that made her make this decision. If there is something here about foul play, that's not coming up for me, but we can pull one more time and see. I will specifically focus in on, asking if there was foul play involved, and then we're gonna wrap it up. I don't care what I get, whether it is or not. I'm just telling you right now. I have to put up my barrier, and end it where it needs to end. It's above me now. Have somebody else do it, because I'm not trying to get that deep. Sorry. I have to protect my judge over here too. What's this here? Eight of Swords. Ooh, what is this that wanted to come out? Oh, it was 2 cards. And notice it's the Justice and the Prince of Sacred Circles, but we're going to flip these back in here and see if it's meant to pop out. Justice wants to come out. This last card is going to really help me determine some stuff. So make it clear, make it clear. And then you wanted to give me 3 cards. Okay, let's see what we get here. I feel like decision fatigue, temperance, things were kind of working out. And then the 5 of Spades, struggle, internal and external. Are we working together or are we fighting? Again, to me, it's not coming through clear cut, because with the 8 of Swords, I was like, I was thinking, oh, so she did make the decision to go through with her exit. But then I seen the Justice card and it's coming up in reverse. I'm like, oh, okay, well, maybe there's something here where it is a bit of foul play here. There is a bit of like behind the scenes stuff going on. So that's why I was like, oh, this last card is going to really make it clear for me. But it's not clear. And I think it's probably that like that on purpose, where it's not exactly clear cut. I think, yeah, she may have committed the action. I'm trying to talk really PG here. She may have committed the action, but I think it's kind of like, somebody poking you or forcing you, or kind of like somebody's like, I'm not touching you kind of energy. But it's like, I feel it. You say you're not touching me, but I feel your body heat. I feel the energy from your finger. I know you just touched me. It's kind of almost like that. Like somebody egging you on or pushing you. What do we have? 3 of Sacred Circles here. Yeah, what is the financial tie-up in this here? Because then we have the 8 of Staves. Something fast, quickly. Financial change. Her financials changed very quickly. And then Princess of Sacred Circles. Again, we getting in that motherly energy. Did they just... It's something with the mom. It's something with the momminess and the independence here. Did they make it hard for her to kind of support her family or something? Was that like the last straw? I'm not sure what that is, because again, I'm not familiar with this whole case and her particular situation. And again, the 5 of Spades is kind of like, are we working together or are we fighting? It's think of it kind of like your coworkers. You don't really trust your coworkers as far as you can throw them, but you also trust them to or to at least hopefully pull their pull their load in things. The Temperance energy to me, again, with that Devil card, I wonder if there was some, and this is no judgment. I don't think any of us can judge, because unless you'd have been through it, and even if you've been through it, you can't tell somebody else how to handle a dark situation like that. So the Temperance card, especially becoming up in reverse, to me it feels like you fell off the wagon, essentially. And then the Seven of Cups here, I didn't see any choices, any options. I didn't see any hope. I didn't have any faith. I experienced decision fatigue. I didn't see another way out of this situation. Again, it feels like somebody egged her on. Like, you all know, and not saying this is the situation. This is just kind of like the scenario that I'm getting here to hopefully help you understand. So you remember there was a case a few years ago, I believe it was here. Yeah, it was here in the US, where the girlfriend of this guy, or was it the guy in, no, it was the girlfriend of a guy. He, you know, self-exited by carbon monoxide poisoning, by, you know, I think that's what it is, where he turned on his car and he suffocated inside, you know, covering the muffler or whatever. And they found out that the reason why he did it was because his girlfriend was like encouraging him, because she wanted to, I forget the reasoning, but I want to say it was because she wanted to get some kind of clout or sympathy off of her losing her boyfriend or something like that. It was something sick. But that's kind of like the energy here. It's kind of like, yeah, you did the action, but it was somebody behind you kind of like pulling the strings. That's what it feels like to me. Hey, ooh, you exploded out. Greed. Greed. And what's this other two cards at? Liberties and Renegades. And then we also have submission to a higher order. That submission to a higher order, even though it's supposed to be an angel, it do not feel heavenly to me. I'll tell you that. Catastrophe and haste. See, something about that timing, the lack of patience, something wasn't working out. I was being squeezed out. Something needed to happen faster and it wasn't. Or, you know, this happened at this amount of time. If, you know, so-and-so wasn't late, then they wouldn't have been speeding and hit that person. Like, it's, Okay, here's another theme that's coming through. I know a lot of us have watched The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. You remember, because when I said that, I was like, yes, that's exactly what it feels like to me. Um, you remember the scene where, I forget her name, but Benjamin Button's girlfriend got her ankle wrecked when she was in Paris or something like that, because the one girl, her boyfriend broke up with her, and so she stayed up all night crying, and then she accidentally hit what you call, while she was spinning out in the street not paying attention. It feels like that. Like domino effect. Something was not happening fast enough, and because or due to a series of unfortunate events, it just piled up. What is easier? Okay. Religious and general conflicts. I wasn't even trying to have you pop out or anything, but that's the one that wanted to come forward. And we have our two cards here. Knowledge of good and evil, and then grandeur. Yeah, what did she know? Well, duh. We know what she knew, allegedly. But who in particular? I'm seeing grandeur, and I'm thinking of someone of opulence. Someone of opulence, someone of grand status in some kind of form. Maybe more so social, but it could be financial. But somebody of great opulence. Someone of great opulence. like old money type of thing. Ouch. Sorry. And here we go. Religious and general conflicts. Why is that steady coming up? Truth and justice. Truth and justice. Judgment, truth, justice, things not adding up. Politics and ambition. Is it somebody who is a political figure who is opulent that come from old money? I'm gonna have to let that thread go. Nothing. I'm like, okay, I can't say that. I can't say that. I'm so sorry. I can't say that. Mm, bro, I'm not even. You read that. I'm not even going to say with the focus camera. All right, moving on. Then we have cowrie shells, passion, feminine powers. Again, this is also bringing up motherly energy. But if you don't know anything about this entire reading, or if you don't know anything about cowrie shells, I often think of like in old African tribes and cultures, maybe still today, cowrie shells were used as finances. So that financing is steady coming up for me as well. Grandeur, opulence. Wasn't it something about just truth and justice? Oh, politics and ambition. Yeah, you can't tell me wasn't no money involved in it. The money exchange hands in here. And then we have peacock, vanity. What else do they say there? Oh, let me turn it up for you. Let me not have y'all reading it in reverse. Vanity and pride. Yeah, somebody let their vanity and pride get in the way of what was coming up here. So it's definitely connected with somebody of great opulence. And it could be Jeffstein, but there could also be, I know there were also other figures involved in this. And if, the rumor mill or the conspiracy is to be believed, there were some very powerful and high up people involved. So read them and weep. We also have the Crystal Grotto, which deals with energy and cosmos. Again, to me, this also speaks. I don't know why specifically this came to mind, but I'm going to just put this out there. Why am I thinking of emeralds? I'm thinking of mining. I'm just going to put that out there. We're going to move forward. Then we have Mason Jar, which deals with mentorship, protection. Something here again about protection, not feeling protected, not feeling taken seriously, feeling vulnerable here. And then lastly, we have roots. And I'm thinking high John when I see this. Influence and support is the words that come up here. But I also think of high John. And if I remember correctly, high John is something very influential dealing with, spiritually, dealing with things of like protection, thwarting kind of like evil eye. Because this looks like high John root to me. But influence and support is the thing that's coming up. Okay, I gotta breathe. I can breathe. And we're gonna cleanse this space out. Because I don't want this going home with nobody. Thank you, Virginia, if you were here for offering some insight into what was going on. We gonna smoke this out and clear this out. Yep, here's your offerings. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, smoke it, smoke it. I don't want any of you all to take on this heavy energy. It's enough that one person had to deal with it, okay? So May this clear some things out for you. You know, blessings and protection, okay? All right. You all, let me know what you think. What is something that I said that kind of like tingled the back of your mind here, or something that I brought up, or that you can provide clarity on? Let's talk about it down in the comment section below. Do it sounds like I'm close? Yeah. With that, give this video a thumbs up if you like it. Make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell to all so you can see the next time I upload. And with that, you know, I wish you all peace, harmony, bliss, clarity is the other word I want to say right now. Abundance, protection, and removal of any mischievous or misleading energies from your life. Okay? After reading this. So with all of that being said, you all rest easy. Take care. Take time for yourself. Breathe. And you will get through it on the other side. Okay? I believe in you all. I will see you in the next reading.